We know that every organization has people. And it's part of a manager's job to direct and coordinate the work activities of those people. This is the leading function. When managers motivate employees, direct the activities of others, select the most effective communication channel, or resolve conflicts among members, they're leading. The fourth and final management function is controlling, which involves monitoring, comparing, and correcting work performance. After the goals are set, the plans formulated, the structural arrangements determined, and the people hired, trained, and motivated, there has to be some evaluation to see if things are going as planned. Any significant deviations will require that the manager get work back on track. Just how well does the functions approach describe what managers do? Is it an accurate description of what managers actually do? Some have argued that it isn't. So let's look at another perspective on describing what managers do. What are management roles? Fayol's original description of management functions wasn't derived from careful surveys of managers in organizations. Rather, it simply represented his observations and experiences in the French mining industry. In the late 1960s, Henry Mintzberg did an empirical study of 5 chief executives at work. What he discovered challenged long-held notions about the manager's job. For instance, in contrast to the predominant view that managers were reflective thinkers who carefully and systematically processed information before making decisions, Mintzberg found that the managers he studied engaged in a number of varied, unpatterned and short-duration activities. These managers had little time for reflective thinking because they encountered constant interruptions, and their activities often lasted less than 9 minutes. In addition to these insights, Mintzberg provided a categorization scheme for defining what managers do based on the managerial roles they use at work. These managerial roles referred to specific categories of managerial actions or behaviors expected of a manager. To help you better understand this concept, think of the different roles you play, such as student, employee, volunteer, bowling team member, sibling, and so forth, and the different things you're expected to do in those roles. Mintzberg concluded that managers perform 10 different but interrelated roles. These 10 roles, as shown in Exhibit 1.5, are grouped around interpersonal relationships, the transfer of information, and decision-making. The interpersonal roles are ones that involve people, subordinates and persons outside the organization, and other duties that are ceremonial and symbolic in nature. The 3 interpersonal roles are figurehead, leader, and liaison. The informational roles involve collecting, receiving, and disseminating information. The 3 information roles include monitor, disseminator, and spokesperson. Finally, the decisional roles entail making decisions or choices. The 4 decisional roles are entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. Recently, Mintzberg completed another intensive study of managers at work and concluded that basically managing is about influencing action. It's about helping organizations and units to get things done, which means action. Based on his observations, Mintzberg said managers do this in 3 ways: by managing actions directly, for instance, negotiating contracts, managing projects, etc. By managing people who take action, for example, motivating them, building teams, enhancing the organization's culture, etc. Or by managing information that propels people to take action, using budgets, goals, task delegation, etc. According to Mintzberg, a manager has 2 roles: framing, which defines how a manager approaches his or her job, and scheduling, which brings the frame to life through the distinct tasks the manager does. A manager performs these roles while managing actions directly, managing people who take action, or managing information. Mintzberg's newest study gives us additional insights on the manager's job, adding to our understanding of what it is that managers do. So which approach is better, functions or roles? Although each does a good job of describing what managers do, the functions approach still seems to be the generally accepted way of describing the manager's job. Its continued popularity is a tribute to its clarity and simplicity. The classical functions provide clear and discrete methods of classifying the thousands of activities that managers carry out and the techniques they use in terms of the functions they perform for the achievement of goals. However, Mintzberg's initial roles approach and newly developed model of managing do offer us